Welcome to Artsee Live. I'm Kelly Spalding, your video hostess, and I'm here with Afaf, Seyam, and Veronica Tibbitts, two designers from this year's Art to Wear fashion show. It's an annual event put on by North Carolina State's College of Design and Textiles. Welcome Afaf and welcome Veronica. I'm sure juggling art to wear with your regular school schedule was quite demanding. How did you manage that?
Well, I cut out anything that wasn't productive in my daily schedule, and that was hang out with friends and sleep.
Sleep's productive. Keep that in.
Not when you're doing art to wear.
What about you, Veronica?
I'm actually taking a studio course that's geared towards giving you time to work on projects such as art to wear, so that helped a little bit. But there's still a lot of hours outside of the studio working, and it's just insane.
Understood. Veronica, you are an Annie Albers Scholar. Can you tell us about that program?
The Annie Albers program is a double major between the College of Design and the College of Textiles. And it was named for Annie Albers, who was a famous weaver. She taught in the Bauhaus and at Black Mountain College during the 1950s. And she's just very accomplished, and the program was named in honor of her.
Your art to wear collection is entitled Satire and addresses consumer consumption and waste. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
I love working with found materials and unconventional objects. I think it really adds something else to the piece. And so the natural theme to go along with that is consumption. And I worked with a lot of different found materials, recycled materials to create my collection.
One of your designs in particular that drew a lot of interest is called Roadkill. Tell us about Roadkill.
The Roadkill dress was inspired by one day I was driving and I saw a fox that had been hit on the side of the road. And it was beautiful, even that it was just torn apart. And I thought if it had been killed in a different way, it might have turned out as a coat or a bag or something else that would be highly prized. But it's very much ignored and discarded as roadkill. So I thought it would be an interesting idea to juxtapose those two ideas of human consumption and throwaway materials with the idea of a luxury item. And so I learned how to skin roadkill. So I ended up creating a dress. And I'm really proud of how it turned out, and I think it's the most conceptually profound piece in the collection.
You have, in addition to your design work, a different textile, I think you take some textile courses. Talk to me about how that influences your design work and what it is you do.
My textile degree is in textile technology, and so the work that I do there is very much more science-based. I take chemistry and physics and all those kinds of things. And you really learn the industry side of design. And so you learn to work with machines and software, designing for a mass market, which is much different than the handwork that you do in design. But it also really, it complements it very well, because you learn how to design for a specific market and to learn a lot of other skills as well.
Outstanding. Afaf, your collection, in which you collaborate with fellow student designer Suzanne Atkinson, was inspired by the 7 wonders of the architectural world. Can you talk to us about your inspiration?
Yes, Susie originally came to me with the idea of doing Skyline, which was based off of buildings in New York City. And since that was pretty redundant, since all the buildings look the same, she also said that she was interested in the Sydney Opera House in Australia. And because the Chrysler Building was one of her inspirations in New York City, and it was a modern building in its time because it's Art Deco and it was built with all the metal pieces. She also showed me the Sydney Opera House, which is modern when it was built in the 70s and still modern today. So we decided to go around the world and pick out all the modern buildings and call the 7 wonders of architecture.
That's amazing. Do you think that you might be participating in Art to Wear again next year?
If I do, it would be as a solo designer, and she would do the same. We talked about this before, and we thought working together as a team, you really subdue your own personal style, and it doesn't really come through. But I mean, I've challenged myself, and I've come up with a new style working with her. But I also want to do one that's more true to my own style.
What encounters did you run into when creating a collection with such strong architectural shapes?
Because the shapes are so non-organic, it's hard to get that rhythm and the flow, and you almost have to just study the silhouette of the building and see how you can transform it and make it a little bit more abstract to be more form-fitting to the human shape.
Veronica, let's talk about the music you picked to accompany your collection on the runway. How did you go about choosing it?
I actually spent a very long time listening to different music to decide what I wanted. The song that I ended up choosing is NASA, is by NASA, and it's called Gifted, and it has Kanye West and Leggy B and Santa Gold in it. And I listened to so many different things to find something that would represent all of the different pieces that were in my collection. And I wanted something with sort of a futuristic kind of feel that would express, you know, the idea of innovation and the need to change the way our current practices are.
Bobby, what about you?
One of Susie's friends, his name's Nathan, he works in Raleigh with the Dig 'em Up tapes. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. But we told him that we wanted something that sounded really industrial with like a lot of metallic noises in it. And I believe he used Fortets along with some other artists in a newly released song that came out the week of Art2W. I'm not sure what it's called, but he mixed it all together and took out different bells and sounds as if they came from architectural pieces.
Obviously, both of you created garments. How about the shoes and the accessories and makeup and hair? How were each of you involved in those different aspects? Veronica?
Let's see. Well, hair and makeup was done by the David Wade Salon in Raleigh. Artsee works with all the different designers to pair you with a certain salon that will do your hair and makeup. And David Wade was just wonderful. They were very open to all the suggestions that I had. You put together sort of a lookbook of different makeup styles and hairstyles that you'd like to see in your pieces. So we worked with that and suggestions from them as well. The shoes were sort of whatever the model had seemed to go with the dress was what worked.
Perfect.
For shoes, we just wanted things that continued the color of the outfit, didn't take away too much attention, wasn't the main focus, so just solid color is what we tried to stick with. And then for hair and makeup, we had friends of ours come from Charlotte, and we told them that we want to make the models look statuesque and almost as if the buildings had come to life. Nice. So we did a kind of half metallic, half human, so half their face was painted metallic and the other half was just very Bobby Brown, simple. It was really cool, and we put like metal in their hair and wire and just made it really crazy. It was really fun.
That's awesome. What do you hope to see in the future of Art2W, both of you, and how would you like to see the event change?
I'd like to see it grow and gain more recognition because everyone that works on it works so hard as designers, as directors, committee heads, and especially our faculty advisors as well. So I would just love to see it continue for 10 more years and be wonderful every year.
I also want to see it grow. I know that state doesn't really get that much recognition for its fashion program, and I think this is such a big event. And I was actually looking at one of the YouTube videos and I saw someone commented from California. So I would hope that it grows even more nationally and we get more national recognition for it.
The previous years of this particular event?
I designed in 2009. And I had a collection called The American Dream, which was based on the conceptual American Dream and used different Americana motifs. And I had a dress with an enormous plow on the back of it. That was such a headache to figure out, but it looked really fantastic when it finally came down the runway, and it was worth it.
So other than your collections, how did this year differ from last year? Let's start with you.
This was my first year participating, actually, so I was committee head and designer this year, and I just had to play by ear and hear what happened last year and try to fix the things that didn't go so well.
Will you be participating next year, you think?
Possibly. I graduate next year, so it might be really wonderful to have a final collection, but I might need to look for a job instead, so we'll see.
Outstanding. Ladies, thank you both so much for spending and sharing your time with us here at Artsee. Thanks.
Thank you.